You have now entered the Penny Bloom Podcast, hosted by none other than Colton Robinson and Tavares Pennington. I hope you are prepared for a show unlike any that you've ever seen before. Or heard, I guess it's a podcast, so you aren't going to see anything. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It is us again.
We're back.
Coro Bloom, Tav and Pen.
That's me.
How you been doing, buddy?
Good, you know, a little tired, but
Yeah,
good.
it's been a couple days since I've seen you.
It has. It's been like 2, maybe
2
3.
days.
Yeah, that's
2
a
days.
Long time, man.
Yeah.
Can't keep going all these long periods of time.
Yeah, I missed you.
Linking up.
I missed you a lot.
I missed you too. You know.
I mean, I know we went a couple months.
Yeah.
But these 2 days, man, they've been rough.
Rough. You know, once you get back together, you can't like.
You can't separate us like that again.
I know. We're made to be together.
All right, so today we are discussing the best album from every year of the 2010s. 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. 19 isn't over, therefore we won't be discussing it.
Therefore.
So, we'll jump right into it then.
Let's go.
2010, what'd you go with?
Well, we agreed on 2010, and I don't think anyone could disagree in my subjective but still objective opinion.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it had to be My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West.
Zero doubt.
This was an album that really characterized rap, especially for 2010. But it was special because it didn't only characterize rap, but Kanye did so much on this album. Like, he took all these different influences and sounds and made it into this great collage of music that was so multifaceted. It was stunning, really.
You're absolutely right. What I always loved about this album is I feel like it highlights every single aspect of Kanye West's creativity.
Yeah.
It illuminates it, you know? Like, he is at his best here. I'm confident in saying it's probably his best album.
I think so too. I think either. Well, personally, I think I might go. I'm a graduation.
Graduation.
Kind of guy.
I love. You know, graduation.
That was something.
That's before Kanye got a little experimental.
Yeah, exactly. But it really depends on where you value experimental Kanye versus.
Classic Kanye.
Classic. Is that what we'll call it?
Make Ye Great Again.
Make Ye Great Again. Yeah, that's the origination of that. But My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was, for me, obviously I wasn't listening to music super like heavily in 2010. Definitely not the uncut version of this album.
Yeah, I was 10. You know?
I was 10. But
since then, though, I've grown a love for this.
Yeah, exactly. But like listening back through this discography, it seemed like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy really marked when Kanye was going to surpass everyone else in terms of his artistic expression and his talent in that area.
You're absolutely right. I agree with you completely.
Like, I think he was making good music before that, but he wasn't making like music that would stay in the canon of rap forever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this was it was pushing rap forward.
It really was.
This laid the groundwork for artists like Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Abstract, Brockhampton, all them. Like, I feel like you can heavily hear the influences of this and later Yeezus in their music now. Especially Igor, that just came out by Tyler. You can hear a lot of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And it's pretty crazy to see how much Ye has changed the game. You know?
It is.
He pushed it forward to a point where you couldn't ignore it, you know?
What was your favorite thing that he did on this album? Like, not speaking like specific song-wise or anything, but just like musically. Like, he did a lot of new things on this album.
I feel like you can, for the first time, or not the first time, because you heard it a little bit on 808s, but he really gets into that Bon Iver influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and the fact like Bon Iver and Kanye don't seem like a match.
No, they do now.
They do now.
They didn't though. If you go in order and you listen to Graduation, Late Registration, all those, you're not going to expect him to switch up to this Bon Iver type artist the way 808s started shifting them there.
Exactly. And like even just like going back and you go listen to Graduation, for instance, and then you go listen to For Emma Forever Ago, and like just to see like what these two artists are doing.
Completely different.
Completely different artists. Spectrum, completely different musical styles, completely different genres. But that's the best part about it, because they kind of transcended that gap between them.
For sure.
And that allowed them. I think that's kind of like the mechanism that Kanye used to push his music forward. Was just taking these huge gaps and being like, no, that gap doesn't exist anymore. We're gonna merge. No,
everything's coming together. And what's awesome is like I said earlier, it laid the groundwork for like Tyler and Brockhampton, and there's like so many more. I mean, like Francis and the Lights has come of this Bon Iver Kanye sound. A lot of Chance music, I feel like, has come of this. And there's just so many more artists that like really were
like,
found.
What I
with
see
this.
it as is like all those artists that you listed, like they are known because they don't stick to a specific genre. Tyler especially, like they don't subscribe to like these like ideas of what rap music should be or what R&B or alternative should be, but instead they just kind of like
they blend
take what they like and they blend it, and then they do it like to a well enough degree that you get a completely different and unique experience each time.
For sure.
Which is just crazy. Favorite song?
Runaway.
Has to be.
Easily. We have it playing in the background right now for anybody who can't hear it.
Yes, yeah. And I know we did this intending to have separate albums and separate songs, but like this
you can't disagree
like,
here.
Runaway was especially having Pusha T on it. Like,
ooh, Push's verses.
That's
nice.
Another thing I love about this album was the features.
Toy.
The
so toy.
The list of features that he had on this album.
Yeah, like, I mean, he had Rose, he had Nicki, he had Jay-Z.
Who didn't he have? That's the question.
It was
like,
crazy.
Swiss Beats, like Pusha, like oh my god, it was Cudi.
Top to bottom, perfect. The features list. You can't get better than the features he had on this.
Oh, no, you can't. And in case you didn't know, do you know the original conception that Kanye had for this album?
I don't.
So he initially, when he first told his label about this album, he said, "I'm gonna do 10 20-minute songs, I believe."
20-minute songs.
Yeah, some variation of that, where he would have just like a small amount of songs, but they would each be incredibly long. Now, obviously, the label was like...
That didn't go over.
Nobody's going to fucking listen to that Kanye.
They were like, Kanye. No.
Yeah. And here's why.
We'll see. You work on that, but...
Yeah.
It's not going to make it.
Yeah. Which probably makes sense. That sounds like a grueling listening experience. But with Kanye, I'd give anything a chance, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, just with his creative ability, honestly, if I heard the idea that this man was coming out with, what'd you say, 10 20-minute
tracks,
I would absolutely listen to it.
Oh.
I mean, not in one sitting.
Oh,
I'm not spending 200 minutes listening to this Ye album. But I mean, I'll give it a shot, because like, this man, he's done so well in terms of just like, every aspect of his creativity, fashion. I mean, like, he obviously has some duds, but
yeah. Everybody does though.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact that he's willing to take those risks and shit, that's what makes him one of the greatest ever.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, I really think that Kanye like really started, because right after this he had 808s and Heartbreak.
It was I think it was right before. I think
was 808s. Oh yeah, you're
808s
right. 808s
was in 08, I think, or 09, one of the two.
But like the influence that you hear from 808s to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, it's a progression, and I really love that Kanye like
pushed it forward
so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to go on to 2011?
Yeah, sure.
Let's start with yours.
All right. So my 2011 album was Watch the Throne by Jay-Z and Kanye West
again.
Once again, he was on a streak here.
West, Ye is one of the most occurring artists on this list.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Yeah, but my main reason for this album being the album of 2011 was because, like, when you look at the historical context of this album, you got Jay-Z and you got Kanye. Jay-Z is a rap veteran. Kanye, he's made his name basically as a veteran, but he was a person who was, largely ushered along by Jay-Z and mentored by Jay-Z. So seeing them like kind of get to that peak in their career and then do an album together, which definitely signified that they were still at the peaks of their career.
Yeah.
Incredible. And like I just really like love all the songs in this album. Like going through it, like you really get what, like when I think of a Jay-Z and Kanye West album,
this is what it should be.
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna take a pause from the content point of this, but I would like to point out that the transition we made was absolutely perfect. Right as Runaway stopped, Otis started playing.
Oh yeah, perfect. No, that's perfect.
You can't plan this shit, people.
Meant to be.
We are out here. All right, back to it. But
Meant to be.
But yeah, I mean, when you think about J and Ye, like you said, this is what it's supposed to be. And back in 2011, I was 11, 12, so like I heard People in Paris.
Oh.
I liked that, and I liked Otis. Specifically Otis. I loved Otis.
Oh yeah.
But like as time has passed, I've gone back and I've listened to it like all the way through, and I mean like No Church in the Wild is one of my favorite songs ever.
Just like that song was ridiculous. Like the beat to the progression to Frank to like
it was perfect.
Like, and to even like go get Frank at this time. Like,
yo, this was before Channel Orange.
And they still knew what they were like. Nah, this dude Frank.
This dude is up. This guy is coming up. He is next.
And it was really just a historical moment for me. I know, like Otis specifically, I have a lot of great memories. That was back when I had my little had my little iPod Shuffle, and that was I think my most listened to song. And like that song came on, I'm saying every verse, every word, like not hesitating. I knew like this song
right here,
frontwards, backwards.
Private jets flying over you, made that bumper stick reach overdue. Yay is chillin', What more can I say? We killing them. Okay, yay.
And see like how the punchlines to like the flows.
We said the sophisticated ignorance. Write my curses in cursive.
That's the greatest line in 2011. I'm just gonna go ahead. And
I'm gonna agree with you 100%.
Sophisticated ignorance.
Write my curses in cursive.
Like. I mean, if you can top that, let me know. If you can't, like
if you can't, there's not much that's better ever.
Not really. Like when I heard that, like I was just like, that's one of those moments where you just start banging your head.
Like it's just like, okay.
Yeah. So what was your 2011 pick?
My pick was the classic "Take Care" Drake.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't as innovative as those ones we were talking about, but it was just that good, you know?
Yeah.
He really came correct with this one. It was a perfect balance of his pure rap talent that we talked about last episode, where like early on in his career you could tell like this guy could spit.
You could definitely tell.
And he started mixing in. He didn't start mixing in, but he really started putting an emphasis on the R&B side where he was singing. And specifically, it stands out on the classic Feel song, "Marvin's Room."
Classic.
Every time.
One of the most
just right in the heart every time.
If you don't understand it, you're just too young.
You're just too young. You're not there yet, you know?
But trust and believe, you'll get there.
You'll get there. With the and I think like the music is there, like it really very, very good. But I don't think it's like enough to make it a classic or anything. I think what'll ultimately
you don't think
make
Take Care is a classic?
I think it is. But I don't think the pure like when you look at it next to a lot of the albums on this list, it's not, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you put it up to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and a few others, we won't spoil it, but it's not. I think the nostalgic value of it definitely will make it a classic, and I think it is broadly viewed as a classic. Don't get me wrong, but there's levels to this shit, you know?
There's levels to this shit, yeah. He had so many like smash hits, like not just hits. Smash
dude
hits.
I mean Take Care itself with Rihanna,
headlines.
Ooh.
Take Care,
Marvin's Room popped
Marvin's
off.
Room. What's the song with Rick Ross? I can't remember the name of it.
Cameras.
No, it's not Cameras. It's Buried. No, that's Kendrick. That was hard too.
Buried Alive interlude.
Yeah.
Okay, now open your mind up and listen to me, Kendrick.
Yeah, he was really just like going for it on this album. And
that was Swimming Pools, completely unrelated.
Shot for Me, that's what it was.
Ooh, Shot for Me. Over My Dead Body.
Underground Kings.
Ooh,
like,
take my crown to the grave. I'm an underground king. I
like,
bet we
what
can
did
make tonight the
he do?
greatest story ever told.
Heifer?
Hell
Hold on,
yes.
hold on.
Fucking right, Tav.
The motto.
Ask you out a photo. You already know though. You only live once. That's the motto. Brother, you know. I'm white.
Yeah, no. Oh, and we haven't even mentioned Crew Love by The Weeknd.
Loving the crew. Loving the crew.
All right, but I will say.
You remember? Sorry. You remember that tweet that was like that video of that chick who was dancing? She was like, she was just like bopping her head around. They were like, if you play Crew Love at the same time, it goes perfect. It was like,
oh yeah. I do remember that tweet. Yeah, but we do have to talk about the fact that it is basically common knowledge that a man by the name of Quentin Miller
wrote this shit.
He wrote a lot of this album. A lot of his influence is throughout this album, and I think that's a large reason why Drake has never been able to really get back to this.
Yeah.
And like after he did this is all people wanted.
This was also the best production 40 ever did for him.
Oh yeah, no.
Besides Nothing Was the Same. Those two albums were that was peak 40 for him. But I'm trying to think of when I really think that fell off. Like 40 didn't do as much work for him on Views or More Life.
Yeah.
So it missed again. But Scorpion, he came back with that.
He did.
He came back with 40, and you felt that Take Care. You felt the old Drake, and that was nice.
It was nice, and I think that's a lot of the reason why Scorpion did as well as it did is because there's kind of like when him splitting the album A side and B side like he did, it gave you the two best things.
I loved Scorpion. I didn't at first. At first, on first listen, I was like, it's Drake, and that's the thing about Drake too is like he doesn't change a lot.
Exactly. Yeah,
Drake's going to keep doing his thing. He's going to keep doing it well. I mean, it sells. And it'll age well, but like when you first hear it, you're going to be like, oh man, it's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's just Drake.
Exactly. Yeah. I do think Scorpion grew on me too, and I do admit that it's a good album. But yeah, it's like you said, he just can't really vary his style as much, and I think that kind of holds him back in a lot of areas.
Yeah, it definitely does.
2012.
It's a good kid, Mad City.
This was another one of those years. Like, if you say anything else, then you you must not have listened to this album. Like, I don't know how else to tell you.
This was the best album of 2012, and it's ridiculous it didn't win the Grammy. It lost to The Heist by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
I forgot about
Along
that.
with that, I think Magna Carta, Holy Grail, Jay-Z, Jesus. All those three albums lost to Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
Oh man, and Born Sinner came out.
Born Sinner. I'd like to apologize from the whites for Macklemore and Ryan Lewis doing anything that won awards over Kendrick, Jay-Z, Kanye, and J. Cole.
That's just I'm flabbergasted.
It won over. I think it won over Watch the Throne. I might be wrong there, but I think that's actually what it won over.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, because I think Watch the Throne came out pretty late 2011, so
yeah.
The 2012 Grammy consideration.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no. I mean, like Macklemore, you're Macklemore. You shouldn't be Grammy winning, but it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, you're making some good pop songs, you know.
You'll
hit the radio.
Some good pop rap. You know.
Don't get me wrong. I was 13. I'm white. I was like thrift shop fucking bangs, bro.
Yeah, it did bang.
Walking to the club like, what up? I got a big whoa. I was like,
you were like, hey, me too.
I was like, yeah, Matt, get him. Yeah. It's like put on for the whites.
He's speaking for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
I think honestly though that was just like because it was such a cultural moment. It kind of. Or it was what was at the time the pervasive culture, and it kind of exemplified that, so it was able to be as big as it needed to be to win that Grammy.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, you have Good Kid, Mad City, which is an actual representation of a cultural moment. If this is not something that just encapsulates Kendrick's life, Kendrick's culture, and
pretty much Compton, like he very well captures what his entire life and what a lot of kids little black kids are growing up like in Compton.
This is a love letter to Compton.
It's beautiful, dude. And I mean, like, you want to... It was fucking real. That shit is real. We got a Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst playing right now in the background. Just like storytelling, front to back. Perfect.
This your favorite song, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was stuck in deciding between this one and
The Art of Pure Pressure.
Which is it's to me a lot like this song.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Thinking about the structure of it and like the content, but at the same time, like The Art of Peer Pressure to me is a little more concise and interpretable, I think, than Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst.
Yeah, I can get with that for sure.
Because it's like it still was The Art of Peer Pressure is still like a 6-minute track, and Sing About Me is like it's 12 minutes. Yeah. So like you're gonna go long either way, but like you get lost in that shit.
Yeah,
like,
you get lost, like because you listen. He grabs you, he brings you in, and I remember the first time I listened to this song, I was like, it was a few years after this album came out. I'll explain later why I didn't get into this album immediately, but it's because I didn't really get into music until I was like 14 or 15, and this was when I was 12. But the first time I listened to it, I was like, holy shit, this is so good, and then it ended, and I was like, 12 minutes? That shit was 12 minutes?
Yeah, you're just like blown.
I was like, it felt like 6, 5, 6. Like I knew it was long. I didn't know it was 12 minutes long. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
That's a crazy amount of time for a song. Like it's one of the longest songs that I regularly listen to.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how he. And it's straight music, straight bars. Like he's saying things. Throughout.
Real West Coast shit. Tupac would have been proud.
Real West Coast.
Tupac would have been proud.
And so the reason that this album is so significant for me, at least in terms of K-Dot as an artist, was this was his defining moment.
Yeah, I mentioned that too in my notes. I was like, this is what set him to commercial success.
It really did.
This is what put him on a path to where people will see him. Mm-hmm. Section 80 was great. Don't get me wrong. It's not on the level of any of his other shit, though.
It's really not. And like from here, we'll get to it later. But from here, what he did building off of this album
only gets better.
Only gets better. And like this is why he's the greatest rapper alive.
Best rapper alive. Best rapper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am the greatest rapper alive. So damn great, motherfucker, I died. What you hearing now is a paranormal vibe.
Listen to that. So damn great, motherfucker, I died. What you hearing now is a paranormal vibe. Like,
bro.
What?
Kung Fu Kenny. Look. Dude, that man's so cold.
Cold. This is a side note, but the hard part for me, man.
That's criminally underrated because he released it right before Damn.
Right before Damn. People totally forgot about it, but like...
A week before Damn, right? Like, didn't that come out week or two?
2 weeks, because he teased that the album would come out a week after, but it didn't come out a week after that.
That was when a week after was when All American Badass was released.
Badass dropped, and I was very happy that he did that, because it gave us a chance to really
gave us a time he was like... It gave us a time to regroup. We were like, "Oh my God, Kendrick Lamar!"
We're just like, "He's back, he's back." Like, I remember, like when that song came out, like I just sat in my room listening to it in the dark. Like, he's back.
He's back.
That's all that was in my head. He's back. He's back.
God, it was amazing.
All right, 2013.
We're gonna go into 2013. For me, this album has aged really well. I went Yeezus. I revisited this yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, this album is literally everything that I love about music right now. And it was 6 years ago.
Exactly. This was the most forward-thinking project that Kanye has made.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it like, I know what I said earlier about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy laying the groundwork for artists like Tyler and Brockhampton, and specifically that group and Tyler.
Yeah.
This is what their music is.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it takes these sounds that you would hear, like these electronic sounds, these heavily auto-tuned sounds, like things that you know that Kanye had to manufacture, had to produce himself, had to literally make.
For sure.
And he just makes it into this like array of music with so many highs and lows, and it's really crazy listen. Yeah, like this song especially. This song definitely.
Okay. I just love. I love this song in particular. I love Black Skinhead. I love Blood on the Leaves. I love the classics. You know, the ones that this produced. I remember Blood on the Leaves was my hype track for
oh my god.
For football my freshman year. every day before the I don't know, whatever day we played before the game, I'd be like, listen, it'd be like, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Blood on the leaves. I just gotta make my mind now.
And tell me that, like,
since it's a summertime breeze. I was like,
yeah.
And then that beat drops, and you're like, oh my god,
and
it should have
the
been
beat drop doesn't happen until over a minute into the track too. Like
so
to be able to carry something like that and then just like, oh my god, like you got to think about how grand like this scene this is really like. Kanye thinks big, and I think that's why his music is so good sometimes. Because
God, it's so good.
Huge. You know who helped produce this album?
Who? Rick?
My boy, Ricky fucking
Rubin.
This dude is the OG. If you don't know Rick Rubin, Google Rick Rubin right now, like right this moment. Like,
he has the same birthday as Tavares. We don't celebrate Tavares' birthday. We celebrate Rick Rubin Day, all right?
That's all it is now. It's Rick Rubin Day. Did you Google him yet?
Good.
Well, wait.
Yeah, that's Rick Rubin.
Yeah, he's the fucking goat.
But I started that going into Blood on the Leaves and Black Skinhead because I wanted to say what my favorite song now is after yesterday's listen, and it is Hold My Liquor.
Hold My Liquor?
It is. It's the most modern track there is on that, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because at the beginning you have Chief Keef singing.
Mm-hmm.
Chief Keef singing, and it sounds good as fuck.
Chief Keef
singing. With and it also has Justin Vernon, who is the leader of Bon Iver.
Yeah.
And just the whole thing collectively, there's so many ups and downs, but it flows so damn well.
Oh, so well, yeah. And he was able to, I think, do another one of those things where he transcended the genres quite literally. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Bon Iver is all over this album.
All over.
Justin Vernon, my boy is going in, and like it sounds like this music could just as well have been made by Justin Vernon.
Oh, easily. Like, listen, I mean, y'all can't hear, but like, Bon Iver was going in just now on this song. We're listening to Hold My Liquor in the background, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
How easy this is for him.
This was
the creativity is genius.
I will say that when this album came out, it got an extremely negative
I didn't
reaction from people. I hated it.
I did not like it in the slightest. I was like, what is this? What are you doing?
Hands down, your worst album.
God, I remember listening to Bound 2 for the first time, and I was like,
laughed so hard.
I was like, God, this song is terrible. Yeah. Even now, I'm like, it's not great. But that's definitely the biggest miss on that album for me.
Uh-huh.
But it's still not bad.
No,
compared to what it was like really early on.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is, what he did here. It's a crazy psychological phenomenon with this album, but going back and listening to it, you just respect it and love it so much more than that first listen, which is not a common thing with albums.
Not at all. So I don't know if you're counting, but 2010, 11, and 13 have all involved Kanye West.
He was on a run.
He was on a run.
Revenge tour.
Now, what was your 2013 pick, since we were in the spirit of mixing things up?
2013 was an interesting year for me. A lot of good music came out, but the one that stands out most to me had to be Acid Rap. Chance the Rapper. Yes. I don't know.
My boy.
This was his second full-length project, and
after 10 Day.
After 10 Day, yeah, an album that he made in 10 days. So really, this is his first real effort. You know what I mean? As an artist,
this was also his first commercial release.
Yeah, his first.
Because 10 Day was a big deal in Chicago, not a lot of other places.
Yeah, exactly.
Acid Rap got pub everywhere.
Exactly, and Acid Rap to me is one of those classic mixtapes, one of those classic projects that it shows a young artist doing what artists do best, and I think that's how you could have guessed from Acid Rap that Chance would be someone
he was on a path.
He was on a path to do some special stuff because nobody's making albums this good this early. You know what I mean?
Oh God, no! I mean, And there's songs on this that I consider like true classics.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got Cocoa Butter Kisses.
Cocoa Butter Kisses.
You got Juice. Favorite song.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Interlude, That's Love is one of the more underrated songs there is.
You say Paradise?
I didn't.
Paradise.
But it's up there. Acid Rain. Acid Rain.
Yo.
Took off my shoes, tripped acid in the rain. I was like,
and
dude.
Yes. And the craziest.
You didn't have to do that.
The craziest thing about it is that he's talking about like acid. Like who's making like rap albums about acid? Like,
bro, he made this album, and after in an interview, I can't remember what he was on. I think it was Sway. He'd only done acid once, and he's only done acid once ever, and that was it. And then he made acid rap.
And it's weird because it's such a trippy album too.
It's perfect for like the idea of psychedelics and
it is
just
it really
everything.
Is. It was a really good effort, and I think
cigarettes on cigarettes, my mama think I stay. I got girls in my hoodies, all my homies think it's stay.
Cocoa Butter Kisses, hands down, is my favorite song from this project because I just remember I have a very distinct memory of this album. My mom is from Evanston, which is 2 minutes outside of Chicago. Like it's right next to it. And one night we were on vacation there, and my stepdad had never been to Chicago, so we were just driving around, showing him all the spots, all the joints. And I was in the back seat listening to Cocoa Butter Kisses, riding around Chicago. Or I was listening to acid rap, riding around Chicago, and I just it occurred to me halfway through what I was doing.
You were like, damn, this is it.
And I was just like, this album
was conceived here.
It's perfect.
It's for here. This is what it's for
here. And nothing really matches that when you listen to like an album and you get to hear like its basis, its setting.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy to me, and I think he did a really good job of like creating that feeling.
Absolutely.
Gotta create a feeling.
2014 Forest Hills Drive, baby. We gotta show love to our boy J. Cole.
Had to.
Jermaine.
This is
platinum, no features.
Classic as fuck. Like I just can't even.
The classic, bro.
This is a top 3 album all time for me. Like.
Oh, this was the first album that we're getting into earlier when I mentioned I never really listened to music completely until I was like 14, 15. Mm-hmm. I was 14 when this came out. It was a Friday, obviously. Music drops on Friday.
Yeah.
I missed school because I was sick. I was laying in bed. I was scrolling through Twitter. Just gotten my Twitter.
Gotten
my Twitter. And I'm scrolling through, and I see someone, I'm like, oh, J. Cole. That's the guy who made Work Out. I was like, J. Cole. That's the guy who made Work Out. I'll check out that album. Front to back, I listened to this. First time I ever listened to an album front to back.
Oh, wow.
First time ever. And I fell in love, dude.
It was so good.
I fell in love. He came in on the intro January 28th.
Honestly, I had trouble not picking the intro as my favorite song from this album, which is 2 minutes of not really even a song.
Not really a song, but like he's
Cole saying the same shit, but it sounded
so good. Do you want to be?
I literally had
happy. I was like, this is beautiful.
First of all, for all your graphic design needs, hit up my boy Coro. He will hook you up.
I made him a poster of J. Cole that says, "Do you want to be happy?"
That was the first poster I got. That's when he first started making posters, and I was like, I got a copy. He's like, what do you want? And I sat there and I thought about it for a little bit, and I was like, if I have to get this.
Yeah, and I don't know if the video's still rolling, but all the shit in here, I made it. I had to, because I'm all for all this shit. It's just covered in artists. I got Tyler. I got 3 Stacks. I got Cole. I got Mac Miller. I got Drizzy. I got Pusha T. I got the Flatbush Zombies. I got Jaden Smith, Kid Cudi, Chance, Brockhampton painting, Notorious B.I.G. painting, Pop painting. I got all this shit.
Everyone.
I got it all. You know what I'm saying? I got a Post Malone painting. I don't even fuck with Post Malone like that. I just made that. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but damn, I really did this shit. You know what I'm saying?
I really did this shit. Yeah, you really did. Actually, I remember one of our first one of the first times that we became friends. It was over 03 Adolescence.
Oh, Oh, Three Adolescents.
That song.
When was it that we started Hip Hop Air, our first attempt at this sort of thing? 2016. December 2016.
Yeah, December
I actually
2016.
know exactly the date.
I remember.
Because it was the day For Your Eyes Only dropped.
Shit, you're right. Yep.
It was the day For Your Eyes Only dropped. But, going back to 2014 Forest Hills Drive, let's focus this back in.
Okay.
We sunk deep into that one.
We did.
And so when I think of this album, I think a lot like Good Kid, Mad City, in that it felt like you were really getting the story of J. Cole, his upbringing, what it was like growing up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the Ville, Dreamville, and I felt that shit, you know? I hate it whenever I see those tweets. They're like, whenever da-da-da-da said that, I felt that. Like, I hate that. But there are times where I'm like, I absolutely fucking felt that. You know what I'm talking about?
And, like, to give such an accurate portrayal of what it felt like to be J. Cole growing up on an album, you've done something special.
Absolutely.
You've really done
anytime
something
you can give me an idea of what your life has been like on a record, I'm gonna love it. You know, because I love the storytelling aspect. Of what Jermaine has going on a lot. Kendrick has got going on a lot. Jay-Z did it a lot early on. He still does it now. 444 even recently. That was real storytelling shit.
Real.
And like, it's just so damn good. You know.
It really is. And this album rose to the top quickly for me. Being a person who's from North Carolina, like I was born there, lived 9 years in North Carolina. I literally lived 20 minutes from Fayetteville, North Carolina, where he grew up.
Absolutely.
And like, this is another one of those times where it's like, listening to this album, it just reminded me
like,
of
damn,
North Carolina.
I was in this shit.
Yes, like it really did. Like it was home. Like I was just listening to it, and I'm like, you wouldn't understand fully unless you have been there and like understand like what that New York or North Carolina sound is like. And like, he just nailed it. And it's from the stories he tells to like the words that he uses. Like it's all his childhood, him as a person. And like, I don't know how he could match this, if I'm being honest.
And I think part of that's the nostalgic value.
Yeah, that's true.
But for me, he actually legitimately has not released a record as good as this.
No.
Born Sinner gave it a run for its money. KOD even gave it a run for its money.
Yeah. But
I mean, For Your Eyes Only is personally one of my favorite albums there is. But I mean, critically, I recognize it was not as good as 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I mean, and just top to bottom, I can't even really pick a favorite song. If I had to, it would have to be Love Yours.
Yeah, I can't really either, because this is one of those albums that when I turn it on, like I just listen through it. Like,
oh yeah, if I listen to one song from For Your Eyes Only, 2014 Forest Hills Drive, I'm listening to the whole fucking thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, like the amount of days that I came home.
Wet Dreams, 03 Adolescence, Get Off My Dick.
And they're all back to back to back to back.
They
are,
just like, and they're back to back to back to back to back. I think that was a Logic lyric.
Like he really did. He really did something. Like, I mean,
special. Fire Squad.
Like
Saint Tropez.
You
don't get me started on Saint Tropez. Saint Tropez's beat was meant for Kendrick Lamar, and Kendrick was
really?
like, yeah. Kendrick was like, you know what? I'm gonna pass this off to Jermaine.
Because he knew he was gonna do some real.
He knew he was gonna do some shit with that.
He really down to the last song, to Note to Self.
Note to Self, 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Isn't it a 14-minute song?
Mm-hmm.
I listen to that whole fucking thing every time.
And like 12 minutes of it is just J. Cole talking.
He's just talking.
He's just saying random ass shit. Like
one of my favorite parts is when he's talking. He's like, hey, shout out to Dale Earnhardt Jr. I remember that shit you said to me. They won't know what I'm talking about, but I know you do, dog. I know you know. And then he's like, psych, I don't know Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm like, damn. Hilarious. I was like, why the fuck you led me down that path? I was gonna Google this shit. Like, damn, what did Dale Earnhardt say to J. Cole?
He literally was like, hey, bro, that shit you said to me in the elevator,
it changed my life.
And like, you're just like, okay, what the fuck, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I was like, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s out here, all right.
Yo, you know, like you gotta test things out, try new things. But this was
that's 2014. Yeah, that's 2014.
It really is it.
2015. It's hard not to go with To Pimp a Butterfly.
I don't know.
To Pimp a Butterfly is probably critically the greatest album that's ever been released for the rap genre.
Of all time for me. Like,
yeah.
At least in the time, the amount of time that I've been alive, this is the greatest album released in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Like,
this is number 1, and number 2 for the greatest albums that's ever been put out in my lifetime is Blonde for me.
Blonde.
Frank Ocean.
Okay. Yeah,
I love that album, dude.
That's
but To Pimp a Butterfly, for being for real, definitely should have been considered for his Pulitzer Prize that he got for Damn.
Oh,
this is better. Like if you want to look at
yeah.
what like the Pulitzers like give out, like what they award. To Pimp a Butterfly was that, bro.
Exactly. But you know what did happen to Pimp a Butterfly?
What's that?
Got archived in the Harvard Library. Like as a like rap historical memory alongside the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the Low End Theory. I think there was one more. I can't remember what it was.
I love A Tribe Called Quest.
Yes.
Dude.
But
Can
like,
I kick it?
It took 15 plus or like 10, 15 years for those
to get in there, and his was almost immediate.
Like we knew when this dropped that his influence of jazz that he like threaded through the music, along with the narrative, along with the message, along with his talent.
Wesley's Theory.
This is really when I feel like Kendrick Lamar set himself apart in terms of his artistic talent ability. And his artistic ability, but primarily by his use of his voice and how he warped it and bent. Like, this is a perfect example of it right here playing. Like, he goes into high voices, super low voices, super left voices, super right. Like, he was
and this
all over the place, and it really lets you express his emotion.
The feeling of this album is like it's like the completed version of what Untitled Unmastered could have been.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It was. What was it?
Untitled Unmastered was mostly
was it just his cuts, his
yeah.
throwaways from To Pimp a Butterfly?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it felt like, and I never really knew. And I was like, "There's a reason these were throwaways." I wasn't a huge fan, but there are a few songs on that are like, "Damn, this should go."
Yeah, no. I will say that album has grown on me a lot. Like listening,
I'll probably
back
have to revisit it
because if coming purely from a jazz perspective, like listening to the album, you could tell like what he was pulling from. Especially during his creation of To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
Like, and it was very jazz influenced, and it was good jazz, but
good jazz.
Furthermore, good jazz rap on top of that. Like, that's not something that people were doing before 2015.
Oh, not at all.
But it was something people were doing after.
Oh, after. Absolutely.
Like, for sure. Like, became a huge trend, and it was because of this album that I think a lot of people really woke up to, like, the possibilities of this genre bending thing.
Oh, absolutely. And he also, the way he used it, like you said, his voice literally. Mm-hmm. How about his voice metaphorically? The way he just... This album is actually what inspired me to learn more about the civil wrongs that that the United States is extremely guilty of.
Yeah.
And because, like, I mean, I knew a lot, but I didn't know, you know? Like, I was exactly. like, I knew racism existed. Mm-hmm. I knew it wasn't... Obviously, I knew it wasn't a good thing.
Uh-huh.
But
I would hope so.
Yeah, if you disagree, fuck you. But just because the first time I listened to it, the content of what he was saying, I didn't truly understand.
No, you can't really. Like,
yeah, I'll never be able to.
Yeah.
I'll never truly be able to.
I listen to this album and get something new every time.
Yeah, I'll never truly be able to understand. But when this album pushed me to learn more, and like literally in that way changed my life.
Oh yeah.
I'm a very different person because of that path I went on to learn more about what our country has done and what we are certainly guilty of as white people. And in that regard, To Pimp a Butterfly absolutely changed my life.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it really has that potential because he's saying such meaningful things. Like, and he's telling these, like, how much $1 cost?
How much $1 cost?
Like, the first time I truly listened to how much $1 cost, like, it almost brought tears to my eyes because I'm just like,
this shit beautiful.
He is really talking about some real shit, and he's like being vulnerable with it too. Like,
yeah.
He's not like giving these like hypothetical what if scenarios. He's saying like, no, this is some shit that I went through. Like, and like this is like a real story with a real lesson and a real message to it that people should hear. And he does it in such a good way. Like,
such a beautiful way.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar. It's hard to argue that any rapper ever is better than him.
Oh, yeah.
I'd argue he's one of the best artists, period.
Oh, period.
Ever.
For sure, yeah. Like, if Kendrick's putting out something, it's gonna be good. Like,
absolutely. Like, and all the world's eyes are on it, too.
Exactly.
And he lives up to the pressure every single time.
Like,
there are artists who have folded under that. Kanye hasn't really missed, that bad. He certainly has. Like, The Life of Pablo could have been better just because it was unfinished, seemingly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd consider that a little bit of a fold. And, Jay-Z's put out a couple albums that are not even really worthy of mentioning anymore. Drake had more life. Nas has several. Nas put out Illmatic, and he hasn't lived up to that since.
No, he really hasn't.
He's good. He's been great. It's hard to argue Illmatic is not a top 5 album all time, though.
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Illmatic is right there at 2 or 3 for me.
Yeah. But, yeah. Kendrick Lamar, dude.
This is, when I think of 2015, this is the first
It's To
album.
Pimp a Butterfly, yeah.
I can't not think about this shit. I was listening to You Ain't Gotta Lie, every day as soon as when this album came out, this was my song. I don't know,
And what's cool is that he had civil right anthems.
Yeah.
That went commercial.
Oh,
All Right and King Kunta. That shit
literally went commercial.
Goes.
Yeah.
And it had white people bumping it
yeah,
this shit fun. We gonna be all right.
Exactly.
It ain't about you.
It ain't about you. Yeah.
You don't know shit.
And they were it was these super meaningful songs masquerading as party jams. So
exactly.
You're bumping them in the club and you're just wait
and then
a minute.
You'll be standing there and you'll be like, oh damn.
This dude's really talking about the structural oppression of black folk. Wow, look at that.
Kendrick, a legend for sure.
2016.
Want to go your pick first? We went with an underdog for Tav's pick here.
Yeah, sure. So 2016, thinking back on it, and thinking back on the albums that I listened to in 2016, and the ones that I still listen to, and the ones that I regard most highly, The Sun's Tirade has to rise to the top for me. Isaiah Rashad, Where the Fuck Are You At, by the way.
We mentioned this the other day.
Really
Where the fuck are you at?
Isaiah Rashad really released...
What's wrong?
This...
Am I right?
Am I right?
Yeah. Oh,
what? Y'all wouldn't get that, but... unless you listen to the album, of course. But, this was crazy. This was a crazy album to me because I just did not expect it. I remember...
Oh, it was... It's like a portrait. This...
Oh, yeah.
That album cover...
Oh, yeah.
It fits perfectly.
It fits perfectly.
If you blast this album through and through, and you are to draw, paint, design anything, something resembling this cover art is going to come of it.
Exactly. And it really was amazing to me because he's another one of those artists who did this. This is his second full-length project, I think, that he released under TDE.
Yeah, because he had Sylvia Demo.
Yeah,
right?
Sylvia Demo. And, this was one of those listens that's super long. You got to get invested in, and I usually hate albums that have that much fat on it. But it all felt like there was a purpose for everything being there. He wasn't just throwing tracks on there because
he wasn't. He meant every song was supposed to come after the next.
Every song is supposed to come after the next. That's a perfect way. It was really an album that took something similar to that jazz influence that Kendrick was doing in 2015, and it just ran with it. But it took its own direction, it gave it its own flavor. It was
Absolutely.
this very holistic feeling, and I was amazed that he was managing to do all of this and not sacrifice his rap ability or how much he showed it one bit. He was
not
still
at all.
going
And
in every song.
If you are unfamiliar with Isaiah Rashad, absolutely visit The Sun's Tirade. And earlier you mentioned his first release with TDE. Sylvia Demo is nothing to scoff at, dude.
Oh, no.
That is a good tape.
Really good. That was some of my favorite, my favorite Isaiah Rashad song is on there.
Oh, man. I'm trying to remember my favorite song that was on it. And I cannot seem to remember the name at the moment. I'll have it up in a second.
Yeah, Isaiah, what was it?
Shot You Down. Shot You Down with J-Rock and Schoolboy Q.
I think you might actually put me onto that song. Think about it.
Yeah, that song, dude. It's set to play next. It's special, dude.
It is.
A lot. I can say that about a lot of Isaiah Rashad's work.
Oh yeah.
Everything like the Sun's Tirade. Amazing. There's no other way to put it.
And like the craziest thing about it in general to me is that when you talk about underrated rappers, when you talk about rap in general, I've not once heard Isaiah Rashad's name come up in anyone's
That's how underrated he is. And when you talk about underrated rappers, his name doesn't even come up.
Exactly. That is the definition of being underrated.
Yeah.
To me, he's always been the most underrated artist like out. Other people get their credibility. Nobody talks about Isaiah Rashad. It seems like nobody really cares about Isaiah Rashad, but you should care.
You should.
Because he has the potential to do some.
And he was doing the storytelling shit we were talking about with Good Kid and Forest Hills Drive. Like he was doing that on the Sun's Tirade, and he was doing it arguably as well.
He really was, yeah.
We just haven't gotten that follow up.
I know.
The thing that's next, because we need that to determine whether or not this man is going to be one of the greatest.
Yeah, we really do. And he hasn't even like put out like singles. Like he's gone completely silent, which on one hand,
hand's very encouraging. It's exciting. But otherwise, you're like, well, what if he's not working? Like, what if he's just not putting out anything because he doesn't have anything?
He doesn't have anything. That would be devastating. I'm not gonna lie.
You know he does, though.
Yeah.
You know he does.
Like, best song from Sun's Tirade has to be Park.
I agree.
He just, like, that is 2 minutes. Like, all the other songs are pretty slow, methodical, like deliberate about the way that they progress. But Park, the boy just comes in with that fire. He just spits for 2 minutes, just straight spitting. Like I listened to this the first time and I just was going crazy.
Yeah, I shot you down now. Hey. Oh, it's so good.
Yo, shot you down.
God, that chorus is one of my favorite choruses of any song ever.
Oh no!
Like I mean, just every time it comes on, it's infectious.
It really
I'm just
is.
like, it just overtakes me, and I'm like, oh my god, it's beautiful.
Good album.
I'll get into my 2016 pick from Chance the Rapper, Coloring Book. Dude,
that was.
I remember when that came out. I was so excited.
Oh yeah,
I was so excited. You ask anybody from Blue Springs South High School at the time who the biggest Chance the Rapper fan in the school was. Yeah. They knew it was me. They knew it was me. I wrote like a 6-page review the night it came out.
Oh shit, I remember that. Yeah.
We put it in the newspaper. It was a fucking copy bomb.
It's a huge copy bomb, but like the people had to see it.
Had to see it. You had to hear this album, dude. Like, I mean, this, and like we said earlier with Good Kid for Kendrick, this is what sent Chance to the top.
Oh yeah.
And it was awesome because it put a voice that was positive, speaking shit that like needed to be heard to the top. Like, and it was like, and I know we have the positive. There's definitely positives to the way Kendrick was operating and the way J. Cole was operating and what they were saying. But, like, Chance's was the more surface level of positive.
The way I think about it is, like, not that these other rappers weren't this, but, like, Chance is just benevolent. Like, he's just this person who...
It's all love,
everything about him is good. Everything about him is positive. Like, he's always working.
He's always working to get better.
Yeah,
and he's always working to better those around him.
Exactly.
And you can hear that in his music.
And he makes it very intentional. Like,
oh, absolutely. He definitely does. And this was by far his most sophisticated and mature release to date. I mean, 10-Day, Acid Rap, they don't touch this in terms of the artistic depth.
It really doesn't.
Just sophistication and maturation of it. Acid Rap, I think, still has aged as my favorite, but Coloring Book is the best, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think, at least for me, a way that's always been really easy to tell, like, what an album is doing and how to place it, how to think about it, is whether or not it's doing something good creatively or not, is if it's doing something different or not.
Absolutely.
Tell me, who before Coloring Book was putting gospel songs on a rap album?
How great.
Who was making a pretty much
God.
and that song is fire. Too.
That song's so fire, dude. Where's Jay Electronica, man,
don't even get me started on this. That man is the definition of a ghost. Like he really did, and he's been doing that for years, just dropping these verses where he just like goes in and then fades to black.
Oh,
like,
it's so
I don't even think
good.
we've got an album from Jay Elect yet. Like the dude doesn't have a single project. He just has like 6 or 7 of the greatest like features of all time.
All time, bro. I mean, I'm a play it. I have to play it now. Now that we're talking about it.
You got to. But the coloring book for me was it. I was so perplexed when I first listened to this because coming off of Acid Rap, you know, it's an album named Acid Rap.
Yeah, I mean, you're not expecting a lot of maturity, like I said, out of Acid Rap.
Exactly. But then Coloring Book comes around and I'm like, okay, I like Chance the Rapper. He's good, but is he gonna do something?
Is he gonna do it? And what really made me know he was gonna do it is The Life of Pablo, Ultra Light Beam.
Ultra Light Beam.
Said you gotta do a good ass job with Chance 3. I heard you gotta sell it to snatch the Grammy. Let's make it so free and the bar so hard that it ain't one gosh darn part you can't tweet. I mean, and like I heard that and I was like, oh, Chance 3. I'm in. 3, yeah. I'm in. Yeah. I'm all in. All right. Like,
like the way that he made the songs in this album was really like him just speaking. Like he was just speaking real shit.
Oh my god,
the whole time.
Yeah, he was
blessed or blessings.
Both of them. Yeah. Both of them. It seems like blessings keep falling in my lap.
That's my personal favorite from this album. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
yeah, it's oh my god, dude, it's so hard for me to pick a favorite.
Oh yeah.
But as time has passed, I think my favorite's Same Drugs.
Same Drugs. That was a crazy.
Which is about Peter Pan. Did you know that?
I did, and I don't completely listening to that song. I don't know Peter Pan as a story well.
But like you can pick up on it. Like he's like, when did you change? Wendy, you've aged. Which, like Neverland, you're never supposed to age. That's the point.
Yeah.
The character's name is Wendy. He's clearly talking from the perspective of Peter fucking Pan. And that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you kidding me? That's brilliant.
Who does that? Like, and then like, one, you look at this album, and I think there's, like, maybe 2 explicit songs. Like, most of the songs...
Well, I think that No Problem. No Problem was a stereotypical, like...
That was a radio hit too.
And he released. What's cool is he released that 10 minutes before the album dropped.
Really?
Collectively, yeah. He was like, just to get people excited. He was like, "Here's No Problem."
Here's No Problem. So people go, "Oh."
Because that had 2 Chainz and Wheezy on it, bro. That went hard too. When 2 Chainz was like, "I'm so high, me and God dapping," I was like, "Yes."
Yo, but All We Got, that intro.
Oh, music is all we got.
You know, Kanye freestyled those drums. He
freestyled the drums on that.
Freestyled the drums, just got on, just did the shit. Like
first us try. Talking about it right now is like making me all nostalgic and like, dude, I can't even explain to you how much I loved this album.
It was
you remember?
So
you remember how much I loved this album?
Chance was hands down your favorite rapper, like.
Period. And I mean, like, I remember when he went to the Grammys and he made history. He was the first independent artist to win Best New Artist and win Rap Album of the Year. It was a mixtape. He won Rap Album of the Year.
Like, that's how you know. Like, you couldn't deny how great this album was. Like, you just couldn't deny it.
Was amazing, dude. And I remember when he was performing How Great. He performed How Great and he performed All We Got, I think. And when he was performing, like, I literally, like, tears were brought to my eyes. I felt like a proud papa. I was like, oh, he's succeeding.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's how I imagine I'll feel, like, being... I don't know that I've ever been as proud of anybody ever as I was of Chance when he won 3 Grammys and he got to perform at the Grammys as an independent artist who built this shit on his own.
And win a Grammy as an independent artist, and 2, like, on Ultra Light Beam. I hear you gotta sell it to snatch the Grammy.
And he called that shit.
He didn't sell it, and he just gave it, like, the coloring book is free. Or it's free, right? Like,
well, yeah, it's available on SoundCloud,
it's on
but it was the
SoundCloud.
first one he put on Apple Music. Therefore,
Yeah.
it's technically getting money sales.
Yeah, it's getting money sales, but it's still like one of those free. Like
He's pulling in the cash monies.
Exactly, but like he just told the Grammys like, nah, I'm not gonna go like your traditional route, but I'm still gonna win your fucking awards.
I'm going to do this shit, all right?
Yeah, it's like
he got to set it to snatch the Grammy. Let's make it so free and the bar so hard that it ain't one gosh darn part you can't tweet. This is my part, nobody else speak.
Oh man, that was such a good song.
How great's still playing right now. It's beautiful.
It really is. It takes me right back to church. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I haven't been to church in years.
Me either.
I probably should head back at some point.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that's a conversation for another day. Let's hop in to the 2 best years in rap history. Is what me and Tavares have decided is to come of the legacy of 2017 and 2018.
Oh yeah, these were crazy years.
Let's list the other albums, the honorable mentions, and the others. All right. All right. So we got 444 by Jay-Z.
That was massive.
Impeccable.
Yeah.
Just amazing album.
Song 444.
Ooh.
Oh my
Ooh,
god.
Family Feud.
Oh my god.
Smile. Dude, it was top to bottom. Great album. We also got All American Badass by Joey Badass. Honestly, probably it is the best politically charged album since anything Public Enemy did.
Yeah, I agree, and the message was so concise, and like he
Like,
was going for it the whole time.
Yeah, the entire time he was talking about it, and when he was, I think it was Rockabye Baby with Schoolboy Q, where he was like, and if you got the guts, scream fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, I was like, hey, all right, yeah, yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah. But dude, that album was amazing. We got Big Fish Theory with Vince Staples, which had Yeah Right with Kendrick.
And he didn't even put Kendrick on the features list, too.
He didn't. So like when you heard that, it was a surprise, and you were like,
Exactly.
"Oh my god, it's him!"
He was just like, Kendrick, wait a minute, and they just go in.
Oh, we got Pretty Girls Like Trap Music.
That was
2
my
Chainz.
That was my album of the summer.
Oh, dude, I was knocking that all the time. I mean, you had
4 a.m. Riverdale Road.
Riverdale, he would there, she would there, you would there, I would the same up.
Yeah, Saturday night, like, oh my god.
What was the one with Trey Songz, Ty Dolla $ign?
Vibe. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Yes,
it's a vibe.
that was the song.
Was Janae Aiko on that?
Yes, she
oh,
was.
buddy, that shit went.
Yeah.
Bro,
vibe.
I love anything Ty Dolla $ign's on though.
Yeah.
That dude makes everything better.
He really does. Ty Dolla $ign doesn't miss on the features.
Oh,
He
never,
doesn't miss.
ever.
He doesn't. But other than that, we had I Decided, a big like overlooked album from that year.
Yeah, by Big Sean. I Decided by Big Sean. Halfway Off the Balcony, bro. You remember that song?
That's still
Sunday Morning Jetpack. Dude, those.
When he performed that on SNL.
That's when I was like, oh yeah, I'm all in on this new album.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah. You had the Never Story by JID, which is really when he came out and was like, I'm here.
This didn't get the pub it deserved. This didn't get the pub it deserved either.
No,
this was a lot like the Sun's tirade for me.
Yeah, exactly. And like he was really coming out and being like, if you listen to what I got to say, I'm gonna show you that.
I'm gonna show you I belong here.
I belong here, and I'm better than most of these other rappers. And this was his first release on Dreamville, like his very first.
Never been
one.
shit, never had shit, never knew shit, never knew shit. Damn, but never gave 2 shits.
This dude, oh my god, JID, like
say what you call the chick that don't suck dick? You don't.
Punchline of the year, punchline of the year. But then you had Culture by Migos,
which obviously critically not great, but the nostalgic value this has for me
at that time it was the
amazing. I mean, like Mama told me not to sell word, dude. That I mean, like that Bad and Bougie is still a great song. I mean, obviously it got worn the fuck out on social media, but
yeah, really it did.
It was still a great song, you know.
Exactly. Like just like looking at the songs from that album.
Kelly
T-shirt,
Price.
Get Right With Ya. Slippery.
Dude, when we're talking about Get Right With Ya, that's when I was like, take off all the way, best Migo. Zero doubt in my fucking mind. He's like, man, I gotta play it now because I gotta hear his verse though.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Big on Big with the Price. Brown.
How you gonna big on Big?
Deads.
Ooh.
Yo, Yo, like this album really at the time was a lot of the rap culture. Like hip hop in general was listening to culture because I don't know, this album really kind of took that like mumble rap fad, trap, and the Migos did what they do to songs.
Oh yeah.
Just, like,
which way? That way. Tell them. Hey, mama.
Like this is one of those albums that's super mindless, and I would always like.
It was always on in the background, you know.
Yeah.
Like I would I remember going to baseball workouts like 5 a.m. with Hunter up the street. Shout out Hunter. He every morning I get in the car and we'd play like 2 songs because they were only it was only for a couple weeks that we had these workouts, and it was like it was T-shirt and it was Running Back.
Oh,
by Wale, by Wale and Lil Wayne.
That was a very
Bitches 100 stack. I don't know the lyrics, but like they told me to hit the hole. I used to play running back.
Wale is that guy too.
Oh, dude, Wale, another one of those guys who, when you talk about underrated rappers, his name doesn't even come up.
Exactly, which is like honestly just like disrespectful.
That's preposterous. Like, Wale is worthy of being a second-tier rapper.
He's literally been doing it so long.
Possibly top.
Damn, we haven't even gotten to
haven't even gotten to our albums that we're actually picking. So let's jump into it. We're gonna go obviously "Damn" by Kendrick Lamar.
That was a release that
it changed rap because it was the first time a Pulitzer Prize had ever been given to an album that wasn't jazz or classical.
Yeah, which is ridiculous to do.
Especially since it was hip hop.
Exactly. Like,
and the seamless transition again. XXX by Kendrick came on just now. No combo kitty. God, it's so really good.
Crazy. Like, I don't know how he does it so well, but he creates these songs that have so much meaning within them. And it's what gets him these sorts of that's the sort of recognition and the sort of critical acclaim that he has, because.
And you can credit To Pimp a Butterfly for getting him to that level. That's when he was like, he did that, and then that's probably when Pulitzer recognized him as an option. They were like, oh damn, this guy has something to say.
Yeah, exactly. Like you listen to songs like XXX, Pride, Fear, Lust.
God, just like, front to back.
Oh my God,
I can't even.
There's so much Fear, especially.
Fear, dude. Fear.
Fear was
fear of the wickedness of weakness.
Like,
fear.
He's like.
It's just a poem. It's a spoken word poem.
It really is, and that's what I think Kendrick Lamar's best. Like, if he wasn't a rapper, he had to be a poet. Like,
oh, he had to be, and he is a poet.
He's just wasting his time.
He is a poet.
He is a poet. Yeah. You know what? Like,
when no one said they killed his only son because of insufficient funds, he was sobbing, he was mopping, way belligerent and drunk.
So good.
Like he really went in on this album, and he didn't distance himself from rap at all, but he's still like it feels like this album can't even be categorized.
No,
like,
you can't.
I can't think of any other albums like it.
Not at all. Oh, dude, you remember God? This what God feel like? Yeah.
Yo,
that was completely different.
It really was.
That was completely different from any Kendrick song there's ever been.
Exactly.
And I was like, I heard it and I was like, chills immediately.
And like his ability to storytell, especially on this album, it's like improving and improving. Duckworth, the story that he tells on Duckworth.
Do y'all know the story of Duckworth? Doesn't matter, we're gonna tell you. Alright? So listen, Kendrick, his father's name was his nickname was Ducky. Yes. Alright? His nickname was Ducky because Kendrick's last name is Duckworth, therefore his father's last name was Duckworth.
Yeah.
His father grew up in Compton, much like the CEO of Top Dog Entertainment, Anthony Tiffith. And when Anthony Tiffith was a young gangbanger, so to say. I don't like using that word, but so to say, we'll use it for now. But when he was young and coming up, he would go to a Popeyes, where Kendrick's dad was working. Every time these guys would come in, he knew what they were about. So he slid him an extra biscuit, some extra chicken. He gave him a little bit of something on the side.
Yep.
One day, Top Dog Tiffith comes into this Popeyes and they hold the joint up. They hold it up. They don't kill him. In fact, they seem the last to survive. He says that in the song. You'll get it if you listen.
Yeah.
But they don't cross paths again. Not for, was it 20 years? It would have had 30 years.
Kendrick was a baby.
Kendrick was a baby. So the story is if Anthony would have capped his dad right then and there, Kendrick could have gone down a completely different path than what he did. But he didn't. And 30 years down the line, Top Dog Tiffeth is introduced to Kendrick's dad. Reintroduced. And they're like, holy fucking shit. You could have killed me 30 years ago and you didn't.
And now, like, you and my son are doing, like...
This. You are he's the greatest rapper alive now. And,
exactly.
like, if there's nothing else that, like... There are very few stories ever that have made me very, very certain that there's a plan. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's a divine intervention and somehow that's like this is the plan for everybody. Because, like, just... That is crazy to think about.
It is ridiculous. And it's like, what was more ridiculous to me was the fact that Kendrick was, 1, 2, 3 albums in. His career he had been rapping for 10 plus years at this point.
And they hadn't come back in contact.
He had never told this story.
Ever.
Until his third album.
Well, because it's just another story, you know? Like, exactly. To them, if they have no association with each other, it's just another story. It's just... When I was in the streets doing this shit, I did that once. Like, it ain't no thing. It's just another thing, you know? And then he's just like, yeah, I was working at a Popeyes in Compton. Sometimes shit happens, you know?
Sometimes shit happens, yeah. Like, that, damn, in general, it... Also,
and that's what's beautiful. It's like, it's the story of, like, what could have happened.
Yeah.
If that's what, if you would have gone down that road, that's what he talks about in the intro with blood.
Yeah.
Dude, blood.
Blood.
That's not even a song. He's like, hello, man. I see that you may have dropped something and you're having a hard time finding it.
Coming onto an album like that, and then the gunshot,
I got chills. I was scared.
I was scared.
I was, bah!
But like it primes you, it gets you ready for what's about to come.
I got
DNA.
loyalty, loyalty.
That back to back, and then after like the little clip that they played of Fox News where they were
it molds into
right. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This was a crazy sound progression that like
there's nothing like it. There's never been a sound progression quite like it.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous, and I think for me at least it solidified Kendrick. Like, and not that he wasn't solidified.
He wasn't solidified. Or this officially made him the greatest rapper there ever was.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was just like, he's really not going to miss. Humble, like, oh my god.
Be humble, and that was like. It's weird to me that went so commercial. Like, that doesn't sound like a normal commercial hit.
It really does.
Like, at all. And you know who that beat was originally meant for?
No, who?
Gucci Mane.
Wow. Thank God
it didn't go to Gucci Mane.
Oh my god.
Because imagine if we didn't get Humble. I mean, like, I know it got way overplayed, and for a while I couldn't stand listening to it. But now that time has passed and that stage is gone, that song is beautiful, dude.
My right stroke just went, or was my left stroke?
My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral.
Like, oh my god, like...
Soprano, see you like to see me on a high note. Soprano! High note! C?
Soprano C. Oh my god. Like, his wordplay on these albums, and you get lost in it so much that you forget that this dude was really talking about some real shit on this album. Like, he was discussing religion, he was discussing faith, and like beliefs, and like
the undertones of just all the religion stuff. It set us into a spiral. We went into a frenzy developing theories because it was the Friday before Easter. So we were like, oh my god, this one is damn. Is the other one going to be nation? Is it going to be God? Our theory was nation, right?
Yeah,
like
nation.
Damn Nation. All right. Yeah, and we got deep into that shit, and we convinced a lot of other people
we really did.
that like this was coming on Sunday.
It made sense. There was no other explanation.
And then Kendrick was like, I appreciate it, but no. And we were like, well, it was fun.
He was just like, sorry, I got one album for you guys. And we're just like, oh, like,
we
it was supposed to put out 2.
Okay.
I was so let down by that.
But then you were like, yeah. You know, this was still, like, on its own, a work of fucking art, a masterpiece.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't know like how he did what he did, which transitions right into the next album that we're going to talk about. My favorite album, 2017.
It's probably aged as my favorite too.
Oh,
Not the best, but my favorite.
Yeah, Flower Boy. Like I don't know how he did what he did,
bro.
Like,
Flower Boy.
Coming
and
off
this was way different.
Yeah, coming off of you have Bastard, then you have Goblin, then you have Wolf, then you have Cherry Bomb. This is a very distinct section
that's a
of
sound.
Tyler's career.
Yeah, and you can hear, and there was an evolution. There certainly was. Like Wolf going into Cherry Bomb, you could definitely hear an evolution starting to take shape. Cherry Bomb was amazing.
I love it, but it's actually his most hated album. Like, people hate Cherry Bomb. They think it's terrible.
That
like,
sucks.
And
it's probably because he was in that transitionary period.
Yeah.
It's because he was on his way to this, but you could not have possibly predicted that this was what was going to come after Cherry Bomb, you know?
Exactly. Like, when Flower Boy came out, I had listened to Tyler. I thought he was okay, but I didn't love him because he just seemed a bit too...
horror.
Yeah, like...
I want to kill myself and everybody around me.
Exactly. It wasn't my vibe. I was just kind of like,
Like, I appreciated the music. I appreciated the art of it.
It was like,
I'm not gonna casually listen to this shit.
Yeah,
you know?
like, I'm not really down with the whole eating roaches thing. So that's just it crosses a couple lines for me.
Yeah.
But, Flower Boy.
Just a couple though, not by much.
Flower Boy comes out, and it's got this yellow cover, this
bright,
of,
just this feeling of like, what's crazy is it's so intensely sad.
Yeah.
With it's like what I talked about the other day with Khalid. It puts off this perception of like this positive, radiating smile, so to say. But like he's talking about how goddamn lonely he is the entire album.
He really is.
And like it's really sad. I feel bad for Tyler.
Oh yeah.
Like, but dude, this was an album, guy.
It was beautiful. I think Tyler's voice is on the album for like a
23%.
Yeah, 23%.
We talked about that the other day too.
23% of the album you hear Tyler, which is a stunningly low number. And Tyler said when he was making it, he kind of just wanted to make the music and sit back and let it do its work. He didn't want to put on a bunch of verses onto each song. Like, enjoy what you're listening to. And Flower Boy really gave this mood that you could just fall into the songs and just, like, appreciate the sounds happening. Like,
God,
it didn't have
so
to be
good.
bars. It didn't have to be a ton of singing, but it was just generally good music. And he built on that with Igor a ton.
Oh, my God. Dude, the step up he took for... What's crazy is if you do analyze his discography, it is an absolute progression.
Oh, yeah.
It starts as one thing, it goes to this, it goes to this, it goes to this, and it gets so much larger in scope and artistry.
Yeah.
And and Flower Boy, a lot more than the transition from Cherry Bomb to Flower Boy. You can tell Flower Boy to Igor. Like,
oh, yeah.
That was definitely the next step, you know?
Exactly. And, like...
Nobody homie knocking at the door.
Pick for features were also really interesting to me too. Rex Orange County.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad he put me on the Rex Orange County.
Happy. So
and
happy.
Caliuchis. I wasn't familiar with Caliuchis either.
And they had even done a song prior to that on Cherry Bomb together.
Yeah.
And he took these features, and with Caliuchis, he did something crazy with See You Again.
See You Again, bro.
Like.
The video of him crying when he heard "See You Again" on the radio, that got me, bro. I was so happy for him.
And when you think about it, like that was really like his first commercial project. Like
first like commercial, because he got a lot of pub off Yonkers.
Oh yeah.
But that wasn't commercial. That song couldn't be commercial.
No.
Stab Bruno Mars in his goddamn esophagus and won't stop until the cops come in. Like, okay, yeah, cool.
God, why do you hate Bruno Mars so much?
Yeah, all right, Tyler. That's good.
Yeah, he was a pretty scary guy back in the day, not gonna lie. But Flower Boy, he was not scary at all. He really showed how much he was capable of maturing, and
it really shows like his tortured artist type persona that like was like very evident in the beginning with the content he made. It was the truly like tortured type stuff that sounded that way. But now it's like it's his content of the lyrics, like on 911 Mr. Lonely.
Yeah,
it's in the title.
Mr. Lonely.
But like, and like boredom. where he's like, boredom's got a new best friend.
Oh my
because
God,
like
that song.
because like he's like it's about his insecurity. He's like, do all my friends like they don't want me around?
Yeah.
Like so like I can't go to them, I can't be with them.
Exactly.
And it's something that like anybody with anxiety can kind of relate to. Is like, well, like it's the thoughts that like feed into your head that are like, they don't want me around. It's all right. It's all right though. I'll be okay.
And he's like talking about like being so
fine.
close to these possessions that he has, because he's like, oh fuck it, I'll just take my fucking Ferrari and go drive around.
Yeah, he's like, I know you guys are tired of me talking about cars, but what the fuck else do you want from me? That is the only thing keeping me company.
Yes, that line right there. And
purchasing things till I'm annoyed. These albums are filling a void. Been doing it for so long, I don't even know if the shit I enjoy.
Like
damn, bro, that's sad.
He's really getting deep into like who he is as a person, who Flower Boy is, and like to me, this is just a working theory that I have, but it seems like each album, this is another one of those easy ways to tell like if an artist has done something creatively and artistically good, is with each album I feel like he reinvents himself.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he's becoming a different character, and he's embodying it to the fullest throughout it. And
that is really cool, is that throughout you can, the titles of his albums are the characters.
Oh yeah.
Which is, what? That's fucking brilliant.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
And it's so simple when you think about it, and so intuitive, but yet
like, how has this not been done? I mean, Ye does it. Jesus.
Yeah, Ye does it.
Pablo. Ye is and that's, like I said, Ye is obviously Tyler's biggest influence. I told you, and I said it on the air, I think that Tyler is like if Pharrell and Kanye produced.
Oh yeah, and
or reproduced.
It's interesting to me when artists do that, because it shows to you like how many different sides of them that there are, and how many different sides of themselves that they perceive, because they don't feel like that they're just one of these albums. They're all of them. They're parts of all of them. Yeah, yes. And like it speaks to more than just the music. Like this shit goes deep as fuck. Like this speaks to what it means to be human, to what it means to just like exist, you know what I mean? Like these are albums that really have the potential to resonate on a level way deeper than culture, for example.
Yes.
Like that, and that's what sets this apart for me, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's just a perfect album.
So, favorite song for you?
Had to be Pothole.
Jaden Smith.
When Pothole
if you got Tyler and Jaden Smith together, I'ma love it, bro.
I'm into some smooth, like if you do some smooth shit and you pull it off, like
watch out for that pothole.
Like, oh my god, like when that song came on, like I'm just like, oh, like
my mother told me.
Yeah, but definitely Pothole. The instrumental is just so deep and dark, and I loved it. And like he's just like, watch out, like he always talks about these like very simple ideas that represent something bigger, like this idea of being bored and how that represents his attachments and other things.
And November, that's what you just said is perfectly what November is. He's like, my November was, and then like you have all these stories because November wasn't any one thing. It's not the month November.
Yeah,
you know, it's whatever you think back to in a moment where you were just purely happy. And I think that's what's beautiful about Flower Boy, is he really expresses all of these emotions, this range of emotions of like, well, not even really a range. It was about how sad, like, and lonely he felt.
Yeah.
But when he thought back to November and how he wished he could get back to November, like, you feel that deeply.
Yeah, you really do, and it's remarkable to me what he did with Flower Boy. Like this, as soon as he released this, I knew that like Tyler was
solidified
his peak. Like, and I don't think he's done. I don't think he's nearly done yet.
Oh, I don't either, because he's got to be.
How old is he?
He's got to be pushing 30. Yeah, I was gonna say he's not 30, but he's pushing it.
Yeah.
I mean, he got started in this shit when he was our age.
He was 16, I think, when he wrote when he drew the Odd Future.
When he drew the Odd Future logo, yeah.
That's crazy. It makes me feel like my life is just, been way off the rails. Like, what the fuck am I doing?
That's opposite. That's not true. That's not. We're normal.
We're normal.
He's a rare case.
That's true. But damn.
And you got it. Yeah, I know it sucks. You got. I've had to talk myself into that so many times. I'm like, damn. Khalid wrote American Teen at 17.
He's like,
Billie Eilish is performing at Coachella. She's 16. Mason Ramsey sang at Walmart once. Now he's performing at Coachella.
Sang at Walmart once.
He's 12.
He's 12. It's just like, man, we really should have been on this years ago. All right.
Want to roll into 2018 then?
The final year.
Let's get into these honorable mentions and these, because this was a special year.
Even better than 2017.
I don't know. I don't know. 2017 has 4 certified classics for me.
That's true.
2017 has Damn, Flower Boy, All American Badass, and 444, and I think those are all definite classics. 2018 has. I'd give them 4 definite classics actually too. So you know what? Never mind. Fuck it. They're both amazing.
These are good ass years.
So let's start with yours. Kids See Ghost.
Kids See Ghost. Kids See Ghost, if you don't know, is the duo of Kanye West and Kid Cudi, and it's their group. They released their self-titled debut album the summer of 2018 alongside an onslaught of Ye projects.
Got Daytona, Ye, and then was it Tiana Taylor's?
Yeah, Tiana Taylor's project, and he had been working on those albums for a while. It seemed at that point. They all came out 7 songs, and they all came out.
Oh, and Nas.
Nas, and people heard that they're like 7 songs on an album, bro, that's an EP.
But when you're getting it all like this, it all seems like it fits together, you know. When you get, because it was 35 songs, there were 5 albums, each 7 tracks each, and you end up getting 35 tracks in the matter of 5 weeks. You're getting a lot more than just 7 tracks on an album. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Such a great way to frame an album, I think. And Kids See Ghost took that frame and they just amplified it by 1,000. And
Kids See Ghost was brilliant.
The musical range on that album was just astounding.
You had a pure rock song on that album with Ghost
song.
Town Part 2, right?
Mm-hmm. And Kids See Ghost, this album was it's commonly characterized as this being on the frontier of this psych rap, this psychological rap thing that they do, because it is a heavily I don't know how to put it, but it's a trippy.
Psychedelic.
Psychedelic, that's what I was thinking. This psychedelic rock, psychedelic rap, I guess is what you'd call it. But it was really just music that, I don't know, it sounded.
It's fucking art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Reborn, when they get into, both of them got deeply into their mental health stuff that they've struggled with throughout the album.
Yeah.
But specifically this song, it was very put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And not many songs ever for me.
That song was so
good.
It just made you feel a certain way, and it made me feel so happy, but at the same time humbled, and at the same time just made me feel and have a ton of empathy for what they were talking about. And I don't know, it really was music that created an emotion within you, and that's why it hit its mark so well. Feel the love.
Well, I can still feel the love. Yeah.
This dude.
Ga 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 ga.
This.
Ga ga ga.
Kanye just gets on and scats. He scats on a song.
And that shit goes hard though. You remember that video of the dudes that were sitting in their car?
Oh, yeah.
And that part came on and they were both in unison, just banging their heads. Yeah. They were I was this is exactly what it is. Every time that part comes on in that song, I do that because I'm you can't not. You know?
Exactly. You have to the music pulls you in. You don't have to try to get invested. It pulls you in. It grabs you, because to me it feels all these different hues of color and of sound that really transcend each other.
That cover art, bro.
The cover art. That was
a watercolor painting.
Yeah, looking at that, it just blew my mind the first time.
It was beautiful.
I was just what are
and it fit the vibe perfect.
Yeah, it really did. And I don't know how they created such a tight project that it feels like it was double its runtime.
Oh, absolutely.
It feels like a long.
God, the fact that it was only 7 tracks is crazy, because it feels so much longer with Cudi montage. And we already said Feel the Love, Reborn.
Kid Cudi, we haven't even talked about
Kid fucking Cudi.
He brought the hums back in
one of my top 5 favorites of all time is Kid Cudi, for sure. He was almost my pick for several of these. I almost had Man on the Moon Part 2, which is
I saw that.
None of his stuff is critically known as the greatest ever.
No, it's not.
But dude, it should be.
He makes good music.
That stuff was good.
Mm-hmm. I think Cuddy's problem has just been that he always comes from such a dark place, but like that shouldn't be a problem because
that shouldn't. That should be able. That should put him in a place to be
who he is
open.
as a person.
Like,
you know what I mean?
People should recognize him as this guy who is speaking from a place of experience with mental health issues and can help people.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Man on the Moon, Indicud. He had Satellite. Just so many that were so good. And even Speed and Bullet to Heaven, I revisited recently. Hated when it came out. Dude, December 2015. That dropped. I was so excited. I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is this?
You were just like, Jesus
I was
Christ,
like, no, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I revisited it. It's still not great, but I mean, like, it's good now. Like, I can listen to it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Cuddy,
just...
And the duo of Cuddy and Kanye had been teased for years at this point, and people just...
And they'd linked up a couple times.
Yeah.
They had on 808s and Heartbreak, Welcome to Heartbreak.
Yeah.
One of the best songs on that album.
I think Cuddy was on a couple songs. He was on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Yeah.
I think he was on a couple songs on The Life of Pablo.
Yeah, he was... Yeah, that it's a really great duo, dude.
Yeah, and I think, like... I hope they continue making albums together.
Yeah, if Kids See Ghosts continues to be a duo, please.
This cannot be a one-hit thing. Like,
they
really
have to keep going
there. Like Kanye's production over.
And the rumor, they've said that they're doing that, but you can never take them at face value. So it's like,
did they say that this is a
one-hit? Yeah, they said they said they're still doing. They have music in the works and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so did Kendrick and Cole.
That's true. That was sad. I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't either. Let's roll over into the honorable mentions. We didn't actually list them.
Oh shoot, do we not? Okay.
Nope. I'll start with one that's not actually listed in the notes, but Victory Lap.
Victory Lap.
Nipsey Hussle.
R.I.P. Nipsey.
R.I.P. Nip. I remember when this album dropped. I listened to it the day it came out, front to back. I texted Tavares immediately.
Oh yeah.
I said, you need to listen to Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle. This is an album of the year level shit.
And I go, oh wow, I never really tried.
You were like, huh,
Nipsey.
Nipsey.
Like, I've heard of him, but like I never actually listened
to
his music.
I never really fucked with his music before. Like, it's not that I didn't fuck with it. It's that I'd never given it a chance, you know?
Yeah.
Because I loved Fuck Donald Trump. That song fucking bangs.
Yeah.
Him and YG really go in on that.
They really did.
I like white folks, but I don't like you.
Yeah. But Victory Lap, that was a release that like, some of his most classic songs and most recognizable songs are from that album.
For sure. And it's that tragic irony that you see with Tupac and Biggie in their last releases. Because I think Biggie's last release alive was Life After Death.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then or Ready to Die, one of the two. Which either way, very very. And then Pac's was I think his last commercial release was All Eyes on Me.
Yeah.
But he also had Machiavelli. And he, God, just. It's really sad to think about how like that was his victory lap, you know? He had a career, dude. This man was West Coast.
Oh yeah.
He's a legend in the West Coast.
He is.
He'd released so many mixtapes. That was his debut album.
Really?
Like,
no way.
Certified commercial album.
Wow.
Everything else was a mixtape, I'm pretty sure. I might not be 100% correct on that, but it was either his first or second, I think.
That sounds right, because he didn't. I don't think he had many commercial releases.
Oh, he never did, but Victory Lap was. And after Victory Lap, I went back and I visited Nipsey's discography, and I was like, holy shit, I am so disappointed I haven't been fucking with this man the entire time.
Exactly. He really is the West Coast, and like, this was only one thing he was doing. He was like an amazing entrepreneur, an amazing community serviceman. Like,
yeah, and like, and he talked about it so well on that album, like, and that's just what's crazy is like. This was his victory lap, you know?
Yeah.
He got his Grammy nom. He got all the shit from this album, his victory lap. And he was struck down in his hood in front of his store. And that just fucking breaks my heart, man.
Yeah,
Every time I talk about it.
Like the most fucked up way. Like, I don't even... Yeah, fuck whoever did that shit.
Eric Holder, fuck you.
All right.
Which rolls into another very tragic early loss.
It does.
With my pick for 2018 album of the year, Swimming.
Oh, wait, you want to do the honorable mentions first?
I do, but it rolled so quickly and easily into it.
Okay.
So 2018 by Mac. 2018, Swimming by Mac Miller.
Swimming.
Just tragic. Tragic.
It really
dude.
was, yeah. And the craziest part about it was Mac Miller was another one of those artists who was kind of like Tyler for me, because at first he just like sounded like white boy.
He was frat rap. You know, he
yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I'm coming out. Hey, what's up, my guys? Let's drink a cold brew. What's up?
Yeah. Smoke some trees.
Hey,
bro.
we can smoke some weed if you want."
Yeah. And like I wasn't really into that thing, but then he released The Divine Feminine.
Dude, The Divine Feminine was
And I listened
good.
to that
Well,
album.
I mean, like even earlier than that, watching TV,
Watching movies with the sound.
watching movie with the sound off. That was so
That was a
good.
really good album.
And Macadelic was good.
Mm-hmm.
Faces,
Yeah.
that mixtape. God, he just had such an amazing discography. And when Swimming rolled around, I was really excited. It was released on August 2nd of 2018, same day as YG's one of YG's albums and Astroworld.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I listened to Astroworld and I listened to Swimming
Yeah, I
back
remember
to
that
back.
too.
And I texted my group chats that I'm in. I think I texted you too, and I was like, Astroworld
Yeah, we
was
definitely
definitely
talked about
not the best album released tonight.
Yeah, no, that was easy to tell.
It was Swimming, dude.
It was so good, and it was like off the rip. Like I was expecting, like going into Swimming, like I was waiting on the album. That was an album that I had been looking forward to, and so when it finally came out and I listened to it, it was so good. Like it was so far beyond anything he'd ever done.
Oh my god,
Like-
it's collectively easily the best work of his career.
Yeah.
It feels like what his entire career had been working toward, you know,
Yeah.
much like what I said about Tyler's Igor. This is what it feels like his entire career has been working toward.
Yeah.
And a lot like Victory Lap. Oh, not a lot like Victory Lap. It's tragic because this is about overcoming. This is about how he was like, I'm finally at a place where I'm like, I'm swimming, I'm not drowning.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Which reminds me of a scene from BoJack Horseman, and where he's speaking at his mother's funeral, and he's like, I remember my mom, my dad, and I, we had a special relationship in that we all were drowning and we couldn't save each other. But for brief moments, we felt like we were swimming. And like, because they hated each other, his mom, his dad, and they were not a good family, but he said there were brief moments where every once in a while you could feel it. You remembered you could swim, but then again, mostly not. Mostly you're just drowning. And when I hear that, I watched BoJack Horseman so many times over and over again. Every time I hear that, it like brings a tear to my eye because I think of Mac Miller.
Yeah.
Because that's what this was. It was a moment where he felt like he was swimming.
It really was, and people were worried about him coming out. Like he made The Divine Feminine like about Ariana. Like that was like his like being in love and like all of that. But then it all like went to shit very soon after that album came out. So it's kind of like
Very
I know
quickly.
that can't be an easy thing to deal with, and like
Not at all.
We knew about his like drug abuse problems and things like that, and like just like the fact that he had dealt with like depression and anxiety, and Swimming made me very, very happy, and I knew
it
off
made me
the
so
rip,
happy. I was like, oh, you're doing good.
Yeah, exactly. And off the rip, me and you both were like, this is it. This is an album that you should listen to often, every day. Like,
As much as you possibly can, if you are ever struggling with anything really, depression, anxiety, anything. This album helped me a lot when I was down at college struggling with some depression and anxiety.
Exactly. First semester of college, I listened to this album every day at top of the morning. Like this is the first thing that I turned on.
I remember just every day I listened to something off this album.
Yeah.
I had to.
Yeah, I had
And
to.
then September rolled around and Mac OD'd.
Yeah.
And I was fucking crushed.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that and just like...
I looked at my phone. I was with Kelsey and Rashiel. And I was like, holy shit, Mac Miller just died.
Yeah.
And they're not... Not that they're not as they're not as big of fans of as Mac as me. They were familiar, but they weren't like they weren't riding for him like I was. And I remember being like, I have to go do something in my room. And just the weakest excuse ever. I went down there and I just bawled, dude. I was like, and then I woke up the next morning. Immediately, I was like, "Damn, Mac's not here."
Yeah, it was crazy, and like that, it was so unexpected, so unexpected. Like I remember, I didn't believe it at first. I was like, no way, he died. Like, what do you mean? Mac Miller's young as hell. How did he die? Like, and like, it just made me so sad. I didn't listen to anything else for at least 3 days. Like I just
I didn't either.
Mac. Like,
every single time I put my headphones in, I was listening to something from him. It wasn't not just swimming. I was revisiting Best Day Ever. No matter where life takes me, find me with a smile.
Yeah. He was such a happy person too.
And nobody had anything bad to say about him.
Nobody did. And he was one of those artists that kind of was like accepted as just being a cool guy within rap, but particularly a cool white person within rap who wasn't like exploiting his position. Wasn't
Yeah, he wasn't Macklemore. He wasn't Iggy Azalea. Fuck Iggy Azalea, dude. Fuck you. He was Mac Miller. Like, he was, like, his relationship with Schoolboy Q. He had good relationships with all of TDE. Like, and the songs he made with, like, Ab Soul, like, Drugs. You remember that off of, Do What Thou Wilt? Or, God, that was my favorite song.
Do What Thou Wilt, I think.
That was my favorite song by far on that, and it was because of Mac.
Yeah, he really had like this huge presence that everyone felt and everyone like agreed with. There was like nobody had any bad stories about Mac Miller because he was that guy. Like he was such a great person, and like it's sad what happened to him did. But like I'm glad we got Swimming before it happened.
I'm so glad we got Swimming before it happened.
I'm glad we got Swimming.
And Swimming, honestly, it's probably my favorite album ever.
Yeah, it's up there for me too. Like this is all.
It wasn't. I definitely loved it. I loved it when it dropped. It was at that point I was pretty certain this is the best album of 2018. But then he died, and I kept listening to it, and I was like, it's my favorite. Like this. There's not much better than this.
This is one like for the longest time I didn't even know like the difference in the songs because I just turned it on.
I just turn it on and shuffle.
Like
or listen to it straight through. Like anything.
Exactly.
No matter what order you listen to this to, either like you get a good cohesive album.
Exactly, and you could tell that he was doing something like very intentional and deliberate with his artistic style on this album, and he nailed it. Like
not a day passes that I don't think about this album.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm not exaggerating either.
Good.
People think. I've said that before, and people are like, haha, nice. I'm like, no, I'm not kidding. I think about Mac Miller every single day.
That good. And for the longest, it just like made me sad every time I thought about it because I'm just like.
But now I'm at a place where I'm like this is a celebration of what Mac was.
Yeah,
Swimming is. It's like he was this radiant, positive person who put this energy into the world that was impossible not to love.
Oh yeah, it really was. And his music really like progressed and showed that not only was he that person, but he also was a great artist, someone who worked on his craft. Like there were stories about Mac and like his music and the way that he did his music would be like, they're like he just got all into it, like created his own beats. Like if he was working on music, don't talk to him because like he's really going in. Like he could do everything. People don't recognize that.
He produced a lot of his shit.
He produced and a lot of other people's
shit.
A lot
of
production for I know JID, him and Thundercat would produce together.
Dude, Thundercat and Mac Miller are a pretty hard duo to beat when it comes to being behind the boards.
Yeah.
Them linking up is lethal. God, favorite song? Do you have to go 2009 on it?
I actually go the first track on it. What's
Come Back to Earth?
Yeah, Come Back to Earth. That song is just heavenly to me. Like
that's a great song, dude. And my greatest regrets feel like texts I never sent or something like that.
Yeah, that like
my regrets look just like texts I shouldn't send. That's what it is.
And I have a thing just for intros in general for some reason.
So do like, I have a real draw towards, if you have a good intro, you're set for me.
The way that he brings you into this album is just perfect for me, because it's like, it gives you like this very like serene feeling, but it doesn't hide itself. You know what I mean? Like it's very open about what he's talking about. It's very open.
It was very evident immediately this was going to be a very open album. He was going to be very vulnerable and reflective.
And like, I love that from an album, because it really gives it meaning, and it gives it more than one.
It gives me more reason to listen to it for me.
Does,
like I'm like, I want to hear you talk about you, and maybe not in the typical way. Like, man, I got more bitches than anybody out here. I'm talking about like the shit you've been through, what you're about, like that kind of stuff. And Mac just did it perfectly with Swimming. Very few albums ever have I enjoyed more.
Yeah, me too. Well, you want to get into the honorable mentions of 2018 now?
Yep, we'll wrap it up with the honorable mentions. We got KOD. Got to.
Great album.
I most nostalgic value I've ever had removed 1 year from an album ever.
It just reminds me of like,
Prom Season.
Where I was, what I was doing when I heard that album. Like,
absolutely. We had Iridescence by Brockhampton.
Oh yeah.
Iridescence by Brockhampton is one of my favorites of 2018.
As soon as that dropped, I knew that they hit with that album. Like,
oh yeah, I was listening with Joanne Lee, another huge Brockhampton fan.
Yeah.
She went with us to the Brockhampton concert, and we were listening to New Orleans, the first track.
Oh my god!
And we hear Jaden Smith come in, and we were like, we looked at each other, we went, oh my god, they did it! Jaden Smith's on it.
They did it.
We were so excited.
And then the transition into Thug Life.
Oh.
Yo.
It's a thug life. It's a thug life. Oh, so good.
Oh, man. From that album though, these two songs just really like changed like everything for me. Wait and District,
bro.
Those, oh my god.
Oh, and Wait, Kevin Abstract got really into it. I loved the way he talked about how he struggled with his sexuality early on.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What's wrong with me? Like, why am I not attracted to this woman who's just undressing before me?"
Yeah. He's very open and like descriptive, and I think like Kevin Abstract's another one of those people who just like does a really good job of like being open and vulnerable about his music. And,
and that's why I always group Mac with guys like that, like Kevin and Tyler, and like they're just all collectively a great example of being so open and vulnerable with your music. And
they still like it seemed like they take this like kind of like pop rap route, it feels like, with their music, but at the same time like they don't like fall into the same tracks.
It's experimental as shit though.
Yeah, it's experimental too, but yeah, that's another example. Like they don't fall into these typical traps of people making this kind of rap. Like they still talk about things that are meaningful. They still do it in a way that's new and innovative. And like my favorite line on the song was when they go it's Joba, I think, who says this, but he like comes in on his verse and he goes, "'Cause we're born with the dollar sign attached to our temple. Life is a dish served cold most times.
'Cause we're born with a dollar sign attached to our temples. Life is a dish best served cold."
Yo, like he like I don't know what like, but he's just like he starts big and like he's like giving these very like I don't know. It's just like a crazy thing to me that he said that like. That he said that at all. Like, that's just not something that I expected from a Brockhampton track.
It was so good. And, like, they were really open and vulnerable with this release in specific.
Yeah. This song was, it just saw each member kind of going through their weight, you know, the things that have been weighing on them, you know what I mean?
Gosh, yes. And, like, what I was talking about earlier, I was trying to think of the lyrics and they wouldn't come to me. It was like, when Kevin says, I was writing poems about a dog in study hall. And she was mad because I never want to show her off. And every time she took her bra off, my dick would get soft. I thought I had a problem. Kept screaming in my pillow. Like, yeah.
He really did. They really did that.
Like, I'm not gay, so, like, I don't know. Like, what it's like struggling with a sexuality like that. But, like, if you can paint that picture for me.
Exactly.
I am 100% going to be much more on board with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like I love the vulnerability that Kevin Abstract and Joba really got vulnerable. Matt got vulnerable about his trust issues.
Yeah.
They all got into something, and they all talked about stuff, and I thought that was really, really important. And a lot can be taken away from that.
Distance was a great album. But there are so many other great albums that came out that year too.
Room 25, No Name. If we're talking
best critical album of the year.
Oh, best critical album of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, she best female rapper there is.
She got bars.
Period.
About colonialism, my guy.
About colonialism.
Like, what the? Who's rapping about Who? Not even just that, but the line is, "My pussy could write a thesis on colonialism."
You win.
Like
you are a goddess.
You
are
yes,
divine.
You are
feel
divine.
Me?
That is the definition. Like the sort of intelligence that No Name writes with just blows my mind.
She is untouchable with arguably any lyricist. She has the bars to go toe to toe with anybody.
Oh yeah.
When, like in terms of content, she is really talking about something all the time, and it's awesome to see. She was on Acid Rap.
Yeah, she was.
On one of Chance's songs. Was that Acid Rain?
Shoot.
No, it wasn't.
No,
I'll look it up.
It wasn't. I can't remember. But yeah, she's been doing this thing in Chicago for a minute now. She's like she's one of those artists that like you could just imagine like going to a speakeasy or like
Lost.
A jazz club and just hearing her.
Oh my
like,
gosh, Room 25 was so fucking good,
so
dog.
Good.
And if you are unfamiliar with No Name, familiarize yourself immediately because Telephone, still one of my favorite albums there is.
Yeah.
Every time I go back and listen to it, I listen to it front to back, and it is perfect.
It is perfect. Yeah, much like Room 25.
Much like Room 25.
But there's also DiCaprio 2.
DiCaprio 2. We talked about that the other day, though.
Yeah.
We don't even really need to get back into that.
Yeah, we really don't. JID
Just know, JID is the fucking shit, dude.
Yes, like, watch out for this guy. But then some rap songs.
We got Earl.
Came back?
Earl Sweatshirt, my G.
Man, Earl, Free Earl? Like, nobody, like, Earl's one of those, like, he's one of the most enigmatic rappers that there are, period. Like,
for sure.
People know that he struggles a lot with depression. People know, like, what, like, his history is with Odd Future coming up. He was one of the best rappers in Odd Future off the rip, but he was 16, and his mom wasn't having that, a professor at UCLA, so she sent him to boarding school. My man was just missing, MIA, for, like, 2 years. And, like, people, like calling for this man, like, drop some music, and
Free Earl. He's like,
sorry,
I
guys,
can't.
I'm at school. Like,
I'm busy.
Yeah, so, like, and he wasn't able to be with Odd Future, and he wasn't able to tour with them, even though he was, like, one of the artists that people wanted to see the most. So it just, like, built him up this, like,
this like elusiveness and this legend almost,
this
like
legend,
this myth, this legend that surrounded Earl Sweatshirt.
Yeah, and then he had Doris, and then he had I don't like shit.
I don't go outside.
And
bro,
like,
that album in particular, one of my probably my favorite of his discography besides some rap songs. That shit's so good.
It's so good, and it's so like dark, and it really had people like kind of scared. And that came out what 2015?
16. 2015 was Doris.
Oh, you're right. And so after that, he kind of went silent for a while. Wasn't doing much. Just had a ton of SoundCloud releases.
That's when he was struggling most with depression. Was the last few years leading up to some rap songs because right before he released some rap songs too, he lost his father.
Oh yeah, yep, he sure did, and that was a huge thing for him. Like
that was you could hear the influence in some rap songs too, like he talks about it.
He has a song dedicated entirely to his father.
Yeah.
Who was also a poet. But some rap songs really just saw Earl come back on this wave that nobody could half interpret and that nobody had ever seen before. Like listening to this off first listen, I was just like I didn't even have an opinion after the first listen. I was just like, I need to listen again. Like I was I need to listen again to this more. Like because he says so much, but that album is more than like the vocals, and the vocals are probably 25% of the importance on that.
Oh yeah, you got to hear everything in that album.
You really got to.
Again, like you said with Billie Eilish's the other day, if you listen to this with one headphone in, you are doing yourself a disservice, an immense disservice.
You really are. He does some like his beat selection. I've never heard anything like it.
Nothing.
Like in the way that he like layered his vocals and put them over these like very absurd beats. Like it reminds me a lot of Atrocity Exhibition, which is another
Danny Brown.
Yeah, which is another album that was like I think
I haven't revisited that in a while. I bet if I go
either.
back, I would appreciate it a lot more.
Most critics named that their best album of 2017 or 16, whenever
16,
it
I
came
think.
out. Yeah, and it's kind of like that, which is why some rap songs got so much love. And like Earl is really that guy. He's what 23, so we're gonna get a lot more Earl, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah. We got about 8 minutes left on this recording. We're an hour and 52 in, so we're gonna wrap this up a little quick. We got Daytona, Pusha T, a flawless album. That shit went. It was so hard.
I don't know if I've ever said
Push has bars for one of the
years.
best MCs ever.
Yeah,
Just lyrically,
Straight up.
flow-wise, amazing.
and he really solidified that with Daytona.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I don't think I've ever said an album is a classic as fast as I said Daytona was a classic.
Oh, first listen.
Yeah,
Daytona's a classic.
I was just like, wait a minute, like you really did that.
Yeah. Then we had Scorpion.
Scorpion.
We talked about that the other day. We don't really need to get back into that. It was also very good. Invasion of Privacy by Cardi won her Grammy. All right.
We'll just not say anything.
Yeah, Care for Me by Saba.
That was
Another
Yeah.
great underrated artist that needs more shine
Exactly.
immediately.
He's another one like Isaiah Rashad to me. Like
Yeah.
people like talk about artists, but nobody says Saba.
Nobody.
says Saba.
Saba and Smino. Those are
Smino
two
too,
very
yeah.
good artists that don't get nearly, and they come up with no name.
Yeah,
They're
Ace,
a crew.
Ace is one of the best songs on.
Ace is probably my favorite song on that album.
With Saba, Smino, and No Name on Room 25, crazy song.
Then we got Ye, which we talked about earlier a little bit with his string of summer releases. Black Panther, collectively a great
Yeah.
work of art, and it's cool because like you don't even realize it, but they're actually like telling you the story of what happens in Black Panther. Like King's dead, the king died. Like
The king died.
They did that shit.
Exactly.
And then Redemption, J-Rock.
Redemption. That was a super underrated release, but it did get the critical acclaim that it deserved. I think.
It did. I think
agreed.
I would have had it as a Grammy Rap Album of the Year nom,
At least, yeah.
but otherwise it got great reception.
Yeah. 2018 was all around just a
2017,
really good year for
2018,
music.
amazing years.
Great year for music.
That was 2010 through 2018, the best albums.
In rap.
Dude, we really did that shit.
Yeah.
We dove into that.
A lot of good albums, a lot of good songs, a lot of good artists. Rest in peace to a few.
Rest in peace, Nip. Rest in peace, Mac.
But yeah, that's it, guys.
We'll shout out our socials real quick with the little time we have left. I'm Coro Bloom on Twitter. Follow the Penny Bloom Pod on Twitter. It's Penny Bloom Pod. That's it.
I'm Tava _pen on Twitter. Also follow the Penny Bloom Pod on Twitter because follow that shit.
We're having some good content put out every day, every
yeah.
single day. And also, I would like for anybody who's listening to come up with a name for the people who follow our podcasts. All right? So, like, I don't have any examples off the top of my head. I don't want to embarrass myself. So, anything. Just a name we can call you guys so that we're not just up here like, everybody listening. Like, we'll be like the Bloomers or something. I don't know. The Penny Bloomers. Sounds like an old-timey, like...
It sounds like an old shoe or something.
Yeah. Kind of dope. Might go Penny Bloomers. But, yeah, so, like, hit us up. Talk to us. Let us know any suggestions, a segment idea, if you will. Peace, love, and bloom, you know? Adios.